Hey everybody, welcome to drinknectar.com. I'm your host Josh Wade, and this is the internet's place to explore the five senses of coffee and wine. Tonight we are going down to Napa and we're trying some wine that I received a few months back, and so I have to issue just some apologies. I have been getting a lot of wine lately to try and sample, and then that with some different events that have been coming my way, it made it difficult for me to squeeze these wines in. So I apologize to the makers of Penche and to your PR director. I know you've been patiently waiting for the review. So this is the 2006 Penche Cabernet. 364 cases of this wine produced. 14.8% ABV, alcohol by volume. Amazingly dark fruit in this, extremely extracted, just thunderously thick purple. One of those few rare wines that I can say that it is 100% opaque. You cannot see through to the bottom at all on this. So let's give it a sniff. Bright, brilliant, amazing, fruit forward, just cherry, black cherry. There's that the red currant. You get subtle toasty oak in there. You certainly can pick up the oak. It's 100% new French oak that they use. Let me just take another sniff in there. It's just beautiful presentation of wine in general, of how it's supposed to be made, and I love it. Let's give it a sip. All right, so this wine has had an opportunity to open up and breathe, but even with that, the fruit is beautiful. I wouldn't quite call it elegant across the front of the tongue. You definitely get that young cherry fruit, the cassis in there. But right in the mid-palate, you get the settling right in the middle of your tongue of this chalkiness. And it settles in there for a second and then dissipates with the acidity in the back end. So, that's a rich, thick wine. Probably would be, or actually I know it is, phenomenal with food, because I've had it with dinner, big steak that we had it with. But just still really elegant and smooth across the back. The finish is long and lingering. Phenomenal wine. It's $60, so definitely not on the low side of price range of things, but well worth the investment to lay down. This wine would cellar well for a number of years. It's got great structure to it. So let's move on to the next wine. They call this one their Argent. It is the Penche Argent. 289 cases, $40, so a little less than the mostly cab-forward wine they have. So I'd be curious to see the differences in color and clarity and flavor, aroma. Same cab fruit, but about half as much used in this particular bottle. Okay, so here we go with the fruit. It's dark. I wouldn't call it, what did I say last time, thunderously dark. I don't know where that came from. It's kind of silly. And it's only about 90% opaque. So it definitely was subdued a little bit. The softness maybe of the Merlot that's in there that kind of rounds it out a little. Beautiful. This one actually bright around the edges, like a bright purple. And this one's a little bit more mellow, like a garnet jewel tone on the outside rim of it. So let's give it a sniff. All right, so there's a reason the French had it right when they started making these blends, because there's something magical, really super magical that happens when you combine Cab, Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, Malbec. The only thing that's missing in there is a Carmenere, a small percentage, but regardless, it's just amazing the difference in structure in the nose and the profile. You get some of that. You can definitely tell the Merlot comes through and softens things up. That brightness of the fruit is not there as it was in the first one, but it's more rounded out with some subtle, like a black cherry instead of a bright red cherry, and that soft chocolatiness in a Merlot is more evident in there. it's the blueberries from the Cab Franc probably brings out some softness in there as well. So it's, for me, it's one of the reasons why when I find a really well-made Bordeaux-style blend that I just go crazy, because it really does delight the senses. So let's give it a sip. Okay, so same thing happened here, you know, as with the previous, with describing the nose and everything. The addition of the Merlot in this balanced out the mid-palate. That chalkiness that I described in the first wine is not there. It's a lot more fluid, just from front to back, you know, balanced and even. You get all those amazing fruit flavors in there. The subtleties of the oak is just barely reminiscent. Some, you know, little bit of tobacco or, you know, hints of leather in there as the wine has begun to age a little bit, but still a very fruit-forward wine with lots of time still left to be in cellar. Amazingly enjoyable, well put together, super high-quality fruit. The only thing this one's really lacking that I loved on the first one was the acidity and the finish. The finish on this one tailed off a little bit quicker, and it wasn't quite as bright with acidity. But all in all, both wines are you know, super efforts, and really reminds me of why Napa is so known for cab and cab forward type wines. So Penche did a fantastic job. Can't wait to write up all the notes. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Nectar Wine. You can also follow me on Facebook at Facebook/DrinkNectar. Reminds you to grab a bottle of wine, enjoy it with friends, and drink happy.